Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. Got a lesson for you today on how to play the first part, which is the intro, verse 1 and chorus 1 of John Deacon's bass line on Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Great bass line. You can take what you learned today and repeat the parts in the appropriate places and you'll get you through the entire song if you want. I am going to cover the other sections of the song in a part 2, which I'm going to film later today or tomorrow. You'll only be able to see that on my website though. When it goes live, I'll put a link in the description box underneath this video on YouTube so that you can hop straight to the page on my website where you can see it. Also, if you're not a subscriber to my e-zine, click on there's a link underneath the video which will take you to my website. Find the subscribe page. You get a series of video and PDF lessons as a thank you for subscribing, and there's a free monthly e-zine which has a video lesson and a PDF to go with it. That's only available to subscribers, so it's definitely worth doing. All it costs is your email address effectively. So go and do that, and let's go and look at the lesson. We're going to split the song into 3 parts: intro, verse 1, chorus 1. Let's go and look at the intro. The intro starts with some nice work up here around the 12th to the 15th frets of your bass. Play it through with the metronome set slowly, then we'll talk through the notes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the tempo picks up, and I'll come back to that last bar before the verse kicks in when we talk through the notes. So start up here. First 2 notes are, which is a slide from G to A, 12th and 14th frets of the G string, and then F, 15th fret of the D string. And you've got G to A, 12th and 14th frets of the G string, then A to B flat, 14th and 15th frets of the G string, and then B flat down to G, which is 15th and 12th frets of the G string. Then there's a pause for a bar, and then you've got this phrase, which is G, 5th fret of the D string, F, 3rd fret of the D string, C, 3rd fret of the A string, the held note is G, which is the 3rd fret of the E string. Then that phrase repeats with the G, F and the C, which is the 5th and 3rd frets of the D string, 3rd fret of the A string, and then finally the tempo picks up after you've played that, and then the tempo picks up to the verse tempo, and you've got this phrase before we hit the verse, which is just C, 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 D, C, and those are the 3rd and the 5th frets of the A string. So then we go into verse 1. The verse is a 20-bar section. Play it through with the metronome set slow, and then we'll talk through the notes. 2, 3, 4. The first phrase of the chorus. So let's go through this slowly. First bar starts in F, and it's all 8th notes, 1st fret of the E string. And second bar again is all 8th notes, open A string. Third bar, all 8th notes, D, 5th fret of the A string. Fourth bar is G, all root notes, 3rd fret of the E string. But then that quarter note on beat 4 is held into the first beat of the next bar. So the 4th and 5th bars sound like this: 2, 3, 4. So once you go from that held G on the first beat of the 5th bar, you're playing this, which is just C and G. C is the 3rd fret of the A string, G is the 5th fret of the D string. And then you're back again, another bar of F, all 8th notes. Then the 7th bar is open A string, but there's a little rhythmic variation in there. John Deacon plays this. So there's a held 8th note on the and of 2, which holds into the note on the 3rd beat of that bar. The 8th bar is D, all 8th notes again, 5th fret of the A string. And here's where it starts to get interesting. 9th bar is G. Again, we've got a held note. Again, that's the 3rd fret of the E string. Then it goes up to C. I'm going to play the next 4 bars, and then I'll come back and talk through the notes. So play them slowly. Okay, so what we've got is that first bar of G with the sustained note into the first beat of the next bar, and then it goes to C, which is C's the root note of that chord, and it's the 3rd fret of the A string. And then you've got a little run leading you up to F, which is C, D, 5th fret of the A string, E, 2nd fret of the D string. Then you're on to F and this bar, which is the 11th bar of this section. Just an F major triad. F's 3rd fret of the D string. And then you've got A and C, 2nd and 5th frets of the G string. Then you're up here, that high line that you can hear in the recording. That's E flat, 8th fret of the D string. From there down to the 13th bar of this section, you come down to B flat at the 3rd fret of the G string. And then there's a passing note at the end of that bar, which is A, the 2nd fret of the G string. Then you're on to G, 5th fret of the D string. And then you've got this pattern that you'll hear throughout the line, which is F sharp, the 4th fret of the D string, and the open D string, in that kind of rhythm. Then you've got another bar of G at the 5th fret of the D string in 8th notes. Then you've got a variation of that F sharp to D pattern we just looked at. Again, 4th fret of the D string and the open D string. And then you've got a bar starting on G at the 5th fret of the D string. This bar is... You've got a nice little run down the arpeggio. So you've got 4 8th notes on that G, then the arpeggio run, which is G, 5th fret of the D string, F, 3rd fret of the D string, D, 5th fret of the A string, root note G at the 3rd fret of the E string, and then you've got this run and variations of this run again you hear throughout the tune, which is G, 2 hits on G, 3rd fret of the E string, 2 open A strings, 2 B flats, 1st fret of the A string, 1 B natural, 2nd fret of the A string, 1 C, 3rd fret of the A string, and then you've got that phrase ends with the octave of C, which is the downbeat of the 20th bar. That's the 5th fret of the G string, and then you've got a bar repeats 2 notes on C, the 5th fret of the G string, and then you've got G at the 5th fret of the D string, and then you're into the chorus pattern. So chorus is a great section. You can clearly hear the melody of the chorus in the bass line. Very interesting melodic piece of playing. Play it through with the metronome set slow, then we'll talk through the notes. 2, 3, 4. you're back into the verse. So let's go through that section again, bar by bar. First bar, F, 2 Fs, G, A, D. F's the first fret of the E string, G's the third, A is the fifth, and then D is the fifth fret of the A string. In that second bar you've got that anticipation, then you've got, so it's all D's apart from the last note of that bar, which is an open A string. Then the third bar you've got, which is just G and its octave, third and fifth frets of the E and the G string respectively with this rhythm. And the fourth bar of the chorus, or of chorus 1, is starts on C. So you've got 3 on the low C, which is the third fret of the A string. And you've got the high C, 5th fret of the G string, and you've got this nice little run, B flat, A, G. B flat's the third fret of the G string, A's the second fret, G's the fifth fret of the D string. So then you're into bar 5, again we've got that phrase. And the next bar is identical to the first one through as well. Also, the 7th bar of the chorus, again, is the same as what we looked at in the first 4 bars of the chorus, which is just G and its octave. Then the 8th bar, we've got a change. We've got another variation of this F sharp to D, open D string pattern that we looked at in the verse. And this time through it's... so you've got F sharp, open D, F sharp, open D, F sharp, open D, and this is the rhythm, 2, 3, 4. And then you've got, it's kind of like a change. You still hear the lyric though. So that's the 9th bar of the chorus. You've got G, F, C, low G. And that mimics the phrase that you heard in the intro of the tune as just before the tempo picks up. G's the 5th fret of the D string, F is the 3rd fret of the D string, C's the 3rd fret of the A string, G is the 3rd fret of the E string, and then that G holds over into the next bar, and you've got this phrase, which is just the octave and the minor third, which is B flat at the 3rd fret of the G string. So you've got those 2 bars, and then it repeats the initial phrase, but then the second phrase, the answer phrase if you like, is different. What you've got the second time round is you go quickly up the arpeggio, you've got D, 5th fret of the A string, F, 3rd fret of the D string, octave of G, 5th fret of the D string, then down to the D, again 5th fret of the A string, 2 hits on the on the low G, which is the 3rd fret of the E string, and then you've got this kind of bridge out and this transition with this really interesting fill. It starts on C, just playing root notes. You'll hear the rhythm by going and listening to the original or listening to the play along I did at the start of this section, and then you've got this fill, and the notes are, you've got a low B flat, 6th fret of the E string, then you've got to get up to here, the octave of B flat, 13th fret of the A string, then you've got the octave of that, or the high B flat, which is the 15th fret of the G string, and then just after that sounds, you've got to bring a hand over and sound an F as well, which is the 5th below it. That's also at the 15th fret, but of the D string, so you get something like this. And then usually I slide back, I grab the F to slide back to get to the F, which will be the start of the verse 2, which we'll look at in the next video. So those are the parts for this first section of the tune.